back to my channel. Today I am here to share with you my weeks 28 through 36 pregnancy update. I cannot believe that I am already 36 weeks pregnant. It is insane. The second and third trimester completely flew by compared to my first, which just dragged, as you guys know. These past couple months have just gone by like in a flash, and I can't believe that I am in the final stretch. Only a couple more weeks, probably around 4-ish, but it could be, you know, in 2 weeks, it could be in 5 weeks. It just, you never know at this point. So yeah, I am really excited to be this far. Things have been honestly going spectacular. I could not have asked for a better third trimester. I am still very, very comfortable. I feel like since the, horrific experience of my first trimester, things have only gotten better and better, and my pregnancy has just been on, this upward climb of, just feeling better and better, and I am so grateful for that. You have no idea. So I already talked a little bit about that in the second trimester, how pretty much all of my negative symptoms from my first trimester had, faded away, and that trend has only continued. I would say, so my first trimester was definitely marked by extreme fatigue and morning sickness, illness, all-day sickness. I was just miserable, as you guys know. My second trimester, I luckily got rid of the nausea and the sickness, and I was feeling better, but I was still extremely fatigued, and so I wasn't able to do a whole lot still. I still spent much of my days just kind of sitting on the couch because I just had no energy to do anything. I still had some issues with digestion and just not feeling 100%. But the third trimester has just been my favorite. Every little last lingering kind of negative symptom that I was still experiencing my second trimester has completely disappeared. My whole digestion, which has kind of been my main negative area, I guess, for my pregnancy, has been wonderful. I was able to stop taking Metamucil, and I stopped completely having that weird full bloated feeling after eating. I can now pretty much eat whatever I want. I'm back to being able to, control my diet and eat whatever I want rather than picking what my body can handle. So that has been feeling really good. And yeah, I have just been feeling great. And so I don't have too many specific symptoms to share with you from these last couple weeks, just because honestly, I haven't really been experiencing that many symptoms. But I thought I would take this pregnancy video opportunity to kind of share with you a couple of other symptoms that have kind of appeared throughout my pregnancy that I may have not discussed in previous videos just because they weren't as, huge or important. And there also has been a couple of different things to happen in these past couple of weeks that I want to share with you guys that are important pregnancy updates. So yeah, that's what you can kind of expect to see from this video, but I am still happy to report that at 36 weeks I am doing pretty darn good. Okay, so one of the newer symptoms that has popped up, I would say within the last less than a month or so, has been this weird kind of hip joint issue. It's not sciatica because it's in both sides, but it's kind of in my back, lower back in, I guess, my hip joint, because whenever I am laying down, usually in bed for, an extended period of time, and I think my joints have that chance to kind of relax, then I stand up and they feel super weak, and like my legs are gonna kind of give out because of that joint weakness. And yeah, so that's kind of been my only new symptom. It's not the end of the world. I kind of just have to make sure I get up slowly and steady myself and make sure I have something to hold on to before I'm able to just kind of get up and walk. So it's more of an inconvenience. It doesn't really hurt per se. It's just kind of a weird, uncomfortable feeling. And it's not every single time I get up. I actually haven't had that happen in probably a week or so. I don't know. But that has been happening more and more, and I'm assuming it's because of the relaxin that's, I think it's a hormone that's released during your pregnancy to kind of help your joints loosen. That specific, it's, the specific purpose is to kind of help loosen up things down there so that your pelvis can widen and prepare for birth. And so I'm assuming that's where that's coming from. And yeah, that's been something that's been happening. Okay, and the next big symptom, I guess you could call it, is I actually did get diagnosed with gestational diabetes, which When I first found out, it was a huge bummer, and I was pretty upset about it because I didn't really know what to expect. But obviously everyone doesn't want to fail their glucose test. You don't want to have an extra diagnosis attached to your pregnancy. And so yeah, it was a bit of a shock and a disappointment, especially because I consider myself pretty healthy, and so. But my doctor said it had nothing to do with my diet or, how healthy or not I am. It's, mostly just genetic and just kind of luck of the draw, I guess. So my numbers were actually high enough when I took the 1 hour test that they didn't even make me take the 3 hour test. I think it was around 240 is what my levels were, if you're curious. So yeah, my doctor said it basically, I 100% had it, and it wasn't even worth taking the 3 hour test. As far as taking the 1 hour test, it was a piece of cake. Everyone kind of talks about how miserable the drink is. I think I had the fruit punch flavor, and it was a piece of cake. I mean, I could, I had 5 minutes to drink the little cup of, sugar, mixture, glucose, whatever, and I probably did it in 30 seconds. It was just, I think it was super hyped up by people, and it just wasn't a big deal. So if you're worried about that, I really wouldn't be. But yeah, so I was pretty upset to begin with because especially right around that time I had started getting significantly more sweet cravings and just really, really craving lots of sugary sweets. So I guess you could say my diagnosis came at a good time because no matter gestational diabetes or not, you shouldn't be, eating a ton of sweets when you're pregnant. And so it kind of, forced me to rein back in that craving. But, I got really nervous because I kind of thought, okay, I can't have any more sugar or anything for the rest of my pregnancy. And I was just really freaked out because, like I said, I've been craving a lot of sweets recently, and no one wants to be told what they can and can't eat, especially when you're pregnant. So the first couple of days were definitely pretty stressful, but my doctor sent me to a, gestational diabetes educator, and since that appointment, I have felt so much better about it. It really has not been that big of a deal. They had me start off, I don't need to take any insulin, I just do diet modification and blood sugar monitoring, so they gave me a blood sugar monitoring kit and taught me how to use it, and they want me to monitor 4 times a day. I do it once after I wake up, after I've been fasting all night, and then I take it 2 hours after each meal that I eat, so breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And then basically she also gave me a chart about how many carbs I'm allowed to eat with each meal or snack, and I just have to follow them. And again, it really hasn't been too hard. The only thing is I have to, limit my carbs and when I can eat. And like I said, it hasn't been too hard. My husband is pretty knowledgeable about nutrition, and so he helped me a lot find like low carb snacks and meal options. And I'm still able to eat dessert every night because we usually do essentially a no carb dinner, just because we'll do like a protein and then veggies and stuff like that. And so I'm able to still have some sweet treat after dinner. I switched out, I was drinking root beer, and so I started drinking Zevia, which has no carbs, no sugar. It's a pretty healthy soda choice, and so I've been drinking that. And yeah, it was just, all about making switches to lower carb options, and I already enjoy eating healthy food, and so it really has not been that big of a deal. I also found a Starbucks drink that fits into my recommended carb intake, which is a vanilla sweet cream cold brew, and that has been excellent because coffee has actually become another recent craving of mine within the last couple of weeks, and so that's really funny because it was like completely the opposite in the beginning of pregnancy. I wanted nothing to do with coffee, and so giving it up was super easy for me. But then in the last couple of weeks, I just really craved that coffee taste, and I've been really missing it. And so being able to find a Starbucks drink that I can satisfy that craving with has been really helpful, because I know you're allowed to have coffee every single day, like that's what doctors are saying now, but I still have personally just chosen not to, but I do treat myself to a Starbucks on the weekend. So yeah, that's been kind of the biggest update with my 3rd trimester, is that gestational diabetes diagnosis, and like I said, it really honestly hasn't been too bad. Alright, so back to some of the smaller things that I kind of just wanted to share with you guys, just for fun. So I finally did take out my belly button ring around 32 or 33 weeks. I was keeping it in as long as possible just because I would prefer it not to close up. I would like to put my ring back in after I give birth. So I was just kind of, my approach to it was always just I'll keep it in until it starts bothering me and then I'll take it out. So I was able to keep it in until around 32, 33 weeks when it really started feeling like it was, stretching too much. It was just uncomfortable and it would kind of get like bonked and feel like, I was kind of, I was afraid I would rip it out if it got hit, too hard. So I did take it out and I have nothing in there now. You'll see what it looks like when I do a bump shot later in the video. My belly button has definitely, I guess, popped, although it's still kind of, it can be like, flat sometimes. I feel like it didn't pop, my belly button didn't and isn't going to pop as much as some other people's, I assume because I just had such an innie, but it'll kind of vary throughout the day. In the morning I'll wake up and it'll be like kind of really out, and then depending on how full I am or where baby girl is in my belly, it's either kind of sticking out or it'll be flush with the rest of my belly. So yeah, but that's been kind of funny to see because, at least it's, super flush with my belly, which isn't normally how it looks. And, yeah, so it still looks funny. It's just not like my normal belly button, but that has definitely happened. I do believe I have a Linnea negra, although I can't see it because of just like, I can't see the bottom of my belly, but, I'm pretty sure I do have a light one. That my husband has pointed out and said that I do have it, but again, I can't really see it unless I look in the mirror. So I think I do. I haven't gotten any stretch marks, knock on wood. I'm still stretch mark free, which I'm really grateful for, but I know that you can get them at any point. They can pop up after you give birth. I haven't been too concerned about it, honestly, at all, because, you can't really avoid them. If they're going to happen, they're going to happen. I do put lotion on if my stomach is itchy. I try not to itch it because I heard that can, make it worse. But also, as far as I know, stretch marks are mostly genetic, and so if you're going to get them, you're going to get them. So I haven't been too over the top about making sure I, put lotion or oil on every single day. I do put it on after I shower, or if my belly is itchy, like I said, and sometimes before bed at night, but I haven't been super over the top with that, like I said. And if they happen, they happen. What can you do? The one skin issue that has popped up is mostly on the outside top of my right thigh. It's one specific spot. I do have some more prominent veins showing. They're not like varicose veins, I don't think, because I think those are supposed to be kind of painful. It's just they're more obvious and you can see them, and I assume that's just because of the, increased amount of blood I have in my system. So there's that. Again, I would like them to not be there, but this is pregnancy. What can you do? They don't really bother me that much. I hope they go away after pregnancy, but if they don't, obviously, having my baby girl will be worth it. Again, on the topic of skin though, my face has been so clear this pregnancy, and that has honestly been one of the pregnancy symptoms that has shocked me the most, because I have definitely struggled with acne-prone skin for most of my adult life. I feel like I always have blemishes and like bumps under my skin. My skin is just never ever clear, and I feel like I haven't gotten a pimple or anything this entire pregnancy. It has completely cleared up my skin. I was expecting my skin to go bananas during pregnancy and get really bad. I was kind of bracing myself for worse breakouts, but I'm super grateful to say that my skin has just completely cleared up, and I am just crossing all of my fingers and toes that this is a symptom that sticks around after pregnancy. I really would not mind a change in my skin type for the better. I definitely heard that pregnancy can change your skin, even after you give birth. So I'm hoping this change is here to stay. I would be super grateful for that because no one likes getting breakouts. But I have been trying to at least, enjoy the clear skin while it lasts, even if it is just for the duration of my pregnancy. I've also definitely noticed some changes in my hair and nails. My nails have been growing super fast. They're definitely not the thickest or strongest nails, but pre-pregnancy, they weren't They have gotten better as I was an adult. I really struggled with growing my nails when I was like a teenager, but yeah, they're normally pretty decent, but they have just gotten so much stronger and grow so much faster since I've been pregnant. And it's not because of my prenatal, because obviously I was taking the prenatal before I was pregnant for, I would say, at least a year, kind of preparing my body for pregnancy. And I didn't notice the changes in my nails until I actually was pregnant. But yeah, they grow so fast. I have to like actually clip them probably at least once a week, and that's just like, again, pretty unheard of for my personal nails. So I have been really enjoying that symptom of pregnancy as well. In addition, my hair, both on my legs and my head, I've noticed some changes. So the hair on my legs is honestly something that, again, has pretty surprised me for pregnancy. I really wasn't expecting this at all, but I don't really know how to say this, but I guess I have like 1/5 of the hair follicles growing on my legs that I normally do, which is just so bizarre of a symptom, but it's true. My hair, I just have less actual hairs on my legs, so even when that grows out, it's just less thick hair. So I can get away with not shaving for longer, which is really nice, because shaving while you're super pregnant with a big old belly is not the easiest of tasks. So again, that would be a symptom that I really wouldn't mind sticking around after pregnancy. It's kind of random, but there it is. In addition, my hair kind of has obviously the opposite, not problem, but it's just been a lot thicker, which I think most women experience during pregnancy, along with the, faster nail growth. I was getting kind of like, not bald spots, but it was definitely thinning out around this area, I think because I constantly have my hair pulled back, and so it puts a lot of tension right on that spot. And I think it was causing like some hair thinning and breakage, but since I've been pregnant, that whole area has grown in really nice. And my hair also just hasn't been falling out that much. I do have pretty thick hair to begin with, and so I'm used to kind of shedding a lot, especially in the shower and when I brush my hair. But since I've been pregnant, I haven't been shedding like almost any hair in the shower or when I brush my hair. So that's been interesting. Again, I have thick hair, so it's not a super concern of mine. I'm probably going to experience postpartum hair loss, after I give birth, like most women do. But I'm not too worried about it. Again, I think I have enough hair that I can kind of afford to lose some and be okay. But yeah, that's definitely something I've noticed, is that I haven't been shedding as much as I'm used to. And I think that pretty much sums up all of the weird, random little symptoms that I have been experiencing in this pregnancy that I haven't previously mentioned in a video. I just thought it would kind of be fun to throw in this one, since I didn't have too much else happening in this third trimester. But as far as a baby girl goes, I did release her name on this channel. If you guys already saw the name reveal, we decided on the name Stella Noelle, and I absolutely love it. It still feels a little weird calling her name, especially in vlogs, because I was so used to we had her first name since like, I think I was around 16 to 18 weeks. My husband and I, that's when we started considering her actual first name, and deciding that was her name. So we've had it between us for quite a while. We picked out her middle name quite a bit later. That we actually had a little bit more of a struggle picking out a middle name we liked than we did with the first name. The first name was almost a breeze. We kind of just would run through names that each of us would like. We'd float it to the other one. The other person would say either, yeah, I kind of like that, I'd think about it, or no, I don't like that at all. And they were usually like, no, I don't really like that, or I don't love it, because obviously you want the name that you absolutely both love. And then one day I think I floated the name Stella, and my husband was like, yeah, I would seriously consider that. And I was like, yeah, I would seriously consider it too. And we kind of just it only grew on us, and so we stuck with that one. And then trying to pick out a middle name that we both loved and just sounded nice with her first name was a little trickier, which I wasn't expecting the middle name to be the one that we would kind of get stuck on. And it wasn't that we couldn't agree on a name. We just both of us couldn't really come up with a middle name that we loved until we came up with Stella Noelle. And so yeah, I love her name. I think it's so beautiful, and it's just really, really fun being able to call her by her name. She is definitely starting to run out of space in there though. Although it still hasn't even really gotten that uncomfortable for me occasionally. So during the day, she will occasionally like to kind of just push herself out, and it feels like she's kind of trying to, like, you know, break out the side of my stomach or something, and I'll see, like, you can actually see, you know, like a butt or a head kind of, you know, pushing its way, and my stomach gets all funky shaped, and it's pretty funny. But yeah, that's, I guess, the most uncomfortable that it can get. If it, you know, it really starts to bother me, I can kind of, you know, apply counter pressure to her, and she'll usually move. But yeah, so it kind of, you know, goes up in my ribs sometimes, but not even as bad as I was expecting with, you know, what other women would say that they were experiencing around this time. You know, they say that, you know, kicks would be painful and that it's really, really uncomfortable when they get, you know, wedged up in their ribs. So I think I'm pretty lucky in that fact that she hasn't become super uncomfortable for me. I still feel like I can breathe fairly well. I don't have, you know, I have a little bit of shortness of breath, but it's nothing that I feel really impacts my daily, you know, comfort level. Kicks definitely aren't painful at all yet. I haven't experienced that at all. They're still super fun. She's most active at night, mostly when we're kind of first laying down to go to bed for the evening around 10:30, 11. She kind of has a little party in there. You can just feel her and see her because, you know, she's getting so big. You can see her, you know, kicking around in there. My stomach goes crazy, and that's really fun. And other than that, during the day, you can kind of usually mostly just see the slow kind of rolls of, like, you know, an elbow or something like that. But at night is really when she is most active, and it's super fun. And usually, you know, like if I wake up to go to the bathroom at night, I can feel her kicking around in there. And again, I do feel really lucky because up to this point, she hasn't, her kicking and moving around, even though it's really active at night, hasn't prevented me from sleeping at all. It's just, it hasn't bothered me, and she's been, you know, having that little nighttime routine for months now, and it, you know, doesn't keep me from falling asleep, which I'm really grateful for. I was kind of having trouble falling asleep starting around, like, in my 8th month, because we just had so much that we had to do, and I was constantly thinking about, you know, what we still needed to buy, what we still needed to do, how, you know, just how much we needed to do before she got here, and, you know, the to-do list. But I actually recently started diffusing essential oils, and I'm going to attribute this 100% to the essential oils. I have been sleeping so good. Like, I've been sleeping so incredibly good for the last week or two since I started diffusing oils at night to help me sleep. It's honestly been better than when I wasn't pregnant. I've been sleeping so good. I fall asleep almost right away. I stay asleep. I maybe wake up once in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, but that's it. And yeah, so I'm really grateful for that, because sleep is something that I definitely struggle with a lot, even when I'm not pregnant. And so, I was definitely kind of worried about late pregnancy and the ability to, you know, get comfortable and sleep, and because everyone talks about you just can't sleep in the late stages of pregnancy, but that, again, I haven't had that issue, and I really think it has something to do with diffusing the essential oils, because I have been sleeping like a baby. Okay, so the last thing I have to chat with you guys about today is my husband and I actually did take a birth class. I forget exactly how far along I was, but it was in the last, you know, month-ish or so. And it was called, I think it was something like natural labor techniques or something like that, and it was all about drug-free pain reduction for, you know, while you're in labor. I am hoping, really hoping to do a natural drug-free birth. I have been practicing hypnobirthing and kind of following the, you know, that whole philosophy for my approach to birth and labor and all that stuff. The birthing class was really informative and helpful. Some of the things I was already kind of planning on doing, like they talked about, you know, breathing and visualization, and, you know, kind of some of the more obvious things like that your husband can do to help, like massage and, you know, kind of common sense things. But they also definitely shared some techniques that I would not have thought about to really use, and I think the most beneficial thing about the class was it kind of did force you to actually sit there and try out all of the different options for pain relief and such. And that in and of itself definitely made me want to consider certain, not just consider, but I'm actually planning on using certain pain relief techniques and assistance from my husband that I would not have considered before the class. One example being, I think it's called the Rebozo technique. I'll put the correct name across the screen if that's not what it's actually called, but basically you take kind of a longer blanket or scarf and you wrap it around your big belly, and your husband has either end, and he kind of uses the blanket to lift up the belly so that it takes the weight away from you. And so it really helps kind of take the weight off your back, and because these pregnancy bellies they're heavy. And so especially during labor, I can just see it being such a nice help and relief having that big weight lifted and kind of taken off your back. And yeah, it also was good practice for Miles and I to start, again, practicing kind of communicating what does help me and what doesn't help me. So, for example, he was massaging me. That's basically like 75% of what they had the husbands do the whole time while the wives were kind of moving around in different positions. Well, it was actually just us and another couple, so it was kind of like, one-on-one training, which was really, really nice. But regardless, it kind of helped us get ready and, have real hands-on practice with communicating, like, no, can you please go harder? Yeah, like, I like it when you massage there, don't do it there, it's not comfortable, and just kind of getting a basic understanding of everyone's kind of role. I don't know, it was just really good to have an actual practice session of all that stuff, not just kind of, oh, well, yeah, when I'm in labor, he'll rub my back, and just kind of have that as a plan. It was just, it was really helpful to have that practice. And they also had a couple different like massage rollerball tools to help use, and so we ended up buying one to bring to the hospital for us because, again, with that hands-on practice, Miles was basically massaging me for like a full hour, and he got tired, as you would. And so obviously I'm going to be in labor for more than an hour, but there's this massage ball that's kind of in like a joint system that he can use to massage me, and he doesn't have to apply as much pressure or move his arms as much. So he won't get tired massaging me, which is really nice. And yeah, so if you're hesitant about taking a birth class or, like a natural birth techniques class, I would definitely highly recommend going. I decided against doing kind of a more informational birth class because honestly, I feel pretty well prepared. Mostly because of how much YouTube I watch. I know that sounds so silly, but I watch a lot of mommy YouTubers and I watch a lot of birth stories. I've also actively sought out a lot of, birth vlogs and birth experience videos, and I've just done a lot of research. So I feel very well informed and very well prepared for what to actually expect from the labor process. And in addition, my book, kind of the hypnobirthing book that I read went pretty in depth about, what the different stages and what your muscles will be doing during that. And so I don't feel, I don't know, I'm not like nervous at all for the actual birth. I really feel like I know what to expect. Obviously I've never done it before, so I know that it's going to be a new experience for me, but I don't think that I'm really going into it lacking any information that I would have gained going to a birth class, like a actual informational birth class. In addition to that, I was a little concerned that because with hypnobirthing, one of the main components is going into your birth very confident in your body's ability to birth a baby, and I feel like going to a birth class that wasn't specifically hypnobirth geared would have kind of detracted from that and taken away from my confidence in my body. So I feel like it would have had more of a negative impact on me than a positive one, if that makes any sense. I know I'm probably sounding like a super hippy-dippy right now, but that is just kind of my thinking around the whole thing. I did consider taking an actual hypnobirthing class, but honestly, they're like $300 to $500, and I just wasn't going to spend that on a class. So I got my hypnobirthing book. I've read the whole thing. I'm reading it through again, and yeah, I'm kind of preparing that way, and I feel pretty good about birth. I've had several people ask, like, are you getting nervous? How do you feel? Like, I'm not really nervous for going into labor. I don't think it's obviously going to be, okay, fuck, it's going to be labor at birth, but again, I trust in my body. I feel well prepared. Like I said, I'm a researcher by nature, and so I've done a lot of research into every area that I feel I need more information on, and yeah, I feel ready. And with that in mind, I have been putting together my birth plan. I'm not going to like walk you through step by step of my birth plan because I don't think that's necessary, but I am trying to plan as natural a birth as possible, and my kind of rule of thumb is I want to avoid all intervention until that specific intervention is necessary for my particular case. So again, I would really like to avoid being induced, but sometimes that's necessary. I would really like to avoid having a cesarean section, but sometimes that's just medically necessary. So yeah, that's kind of my whole, what I'm going into my birth thinking is I would like to have as natural and as medically intervened birth, intervention-free birth as possible, but also knowing that sometimes it is medically necessary, and at the end of the day, the most important thing is, the health of myself and my baby. And so sometimes that's, the miracle of modern medicine is it's able to provide that when a natural birth would not have been able to. So that's kind of my, overarching birth plan. And yeah, I think that finishes things up. So let's get a look at this big old belly. Okay, so I'm just gonna kind of kneel on my chair here so I don't have to completely refocus my camera. I really hope you guys can see well enough, but yeah, this is the belly with the shirt on from the side. Like I said, it's definitely gotten bigger. I think I'm gaining about an inch a week in the last, 4-ish or so weeks. I did forget to tell you guys my weight, so I'll go into that after I show you the belly. But as far as the kind of girth, I guess, of my belly, it's been going up about an inch a week. And yeah, that's what it is looking like with clothes on. And then without clothes, this is what it's looking like. Again, so right now my belly button is kind of poked out, you can see, and I assume you guys can see the Linnea, negra, whatever. I cannot from my vantage point up here, I can't see it. But yeah, that's kind of what my belly is looking like. Like I said, I'm super lucky to not have any stretch marks. I am feeling super grateful for that. Yeah, let's see if we can get you what it looks like from the front without falling off a chair. So yeah, here is the big old belly from the front, what it looks like. And let's get a measurement. Like I said, it's been going up about an inch a week recently, so that has been really fun to kind of watch progress. And I have been measuring in a mirror, which has made it a lot easier to make sure the measuring tape is on, even. But I hope I can kind of get it just from feel. So that looks like it's kind of pretty well around there. And we are at, no. So it looks like it's about 40 inches. And that might be a little off because I think last week it was 41, so either I lost an inch, I don't know, but it's at 40 inches right now, so I'm thinking that I actually don't have the tape measure lined up like I have been, but it's around 40, 41 inches, somewhere around there. Either way, it's jagundo. And you can also see where my belly button ring piercing used to be, and yeah, it's just kind of a big old stretched hole now. There's no way I could have a ring in there. And yeah, my belly button is definitely popped out at the moment, but sometimes it kind of like, will go back in and just kind of be flush with my belly like I was saying. But yeah, that is the belly at 36 weeks. All right, and like I said, I owed you a weight check. So this morning I was 138.8 pounds. And honestly, I haven't really changed weight since week 30. So here, I guess I'll list out my weights for the last, since week 30, or since week 28, since this is a 28 to 36 week update, and you guys can kind of see how my weight has kind of leveled off. Obviously my midwife is still monitoring my weight. I have been going to appointments every 2 weeks, but actually starting this week, I have my growth sonogram on Wednesday, and then after that I have an appointment every single week. But up until this point, I've been having a doctor's appointment every 2 weeks, and she's been monitoring my weight and hasn't been concerned or said anything really, so I'm assuming it's okay. But so at week 28 I was 134.8, week 30 138.2, week 31 137.4, week 32 137.2, week 33 139.2, week 34 138.2, week 35 138.4, and week 36 this morning I was 138.8. So it's kind of stayed right around that 137 to 138 range for the last 6 weeks. I mean, the baby at the belly is obviously getting bigger, and like I said, my midwife doesn't seem concerned, so I guess it's not that big of a deal. But so overall, my pre-pregnancy weight was 123.6, like I've said. So overall, I have gained 15.2 pounds, which again, I feel like isn't, as much as I should have, but my midwife isn't worried, and so I'm kind of just, this is just how my body does pregnancy, I guess. But again, I did lose a significant amount of weight in my first trimester and got down to around 119, and so if you calculate from that weight, I have gained about 20 pounds even. So that's kind of, what my weight has done with pregnancy. And yeah, there you have it if you're curious. But yeah, that wraps things up. I hope you guys enjoyed this pregnancy update, and thank you so much for following along with this pregnancy. Like I said, obviously things will be wrapping up pretty soon. I have about a month left until my due date, but baby girl could be coming, a week or two before or after that. Due dates are definitely more of a guideline rather than a hard and fast rule, so who knows when she'll make her appearance. I am fine with kind of letting her make that decision on her own. I don't plan to do any form of natural induction. I'm just letting her take her sweet old time and cook in there as long as she needs. But yeah, again, thank you so much for following along with my pregnancy. It has meant the world to me to see how excited you guys are and how much you care about me and baby Stella already. It just warms my heart so much, and I want to say thank you. And yeah, I love sharing this journey with you. But yeah, please give this video a thumbs up if you did like it, and don't forget to subscribe to follow along, because I will be definitely sharing the conclusion of this pregnancy very, very soon. I am still not sure exactly how I'm going to handle pregnancy updates from here until the birth. Like I said, I don't have too much change week to week, so I don't think I'll be doing weekly updates. I would like to at least do one more update to share what happens from now until I give birth. I don't know if I'm going to be filming that before or after I give birth, since I don't know when I'm going to give birth. I also plan to do a birth, story, so you have that to look forward to. And actually right after this video, I'm going to be sharing a huge baby girl clothing haul, and I'm going to be sharing a registry completion haul to share basically everything else that we've accumulated since that huge baby shower haul that I shared with you guys last week, I believe. So yeah, if you like baby hauls, definitely stick around, because I have a good couple of ones coming up. And yeah, I think that wraps things up. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!